But what you're looking at here is a $5 million tunnel underneath Ross's Landing. Why? We'll tell you why coming up.
David will be above ground to tell us how the forecast is shaping up.
And in sports, Philip Fulmer says don't compare Tennessee's quarterback with Florida's. News Center 12 is next.
In the real world, there can be only one...
At 7:30, right here on TV 12.
Now, looking out for the Tennessee Valley. Live from News Center 12. Rebecca Williams, Ted Perry, Chief Meteorologist David Neal, and Sports with Kevin Billingsley.
I allowed the pictures to be made, and obviously it offended some people, and so I feel like I exercised poor judgment, and I asked for a public apology.
That's Rossville's former fire chief talking about the pictures that cost him his job. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Chief Bobby Hatfield thought a photo spread in Chattanooga's Accelerator magazine would be a good way to promote his department. So he let the car magazine shoot at his firehouse. Why, he even posed for some shots himself. But as Jonathan Panker tells us tonight, the pictures have sparked a 4-alarm political fire.
Cars and girls. Girls and cars. It's your all-American magazine until a public official poses with a bikini-clad babe. And then you've got the makings of a scandal. The scandal that's been rocking Rossville ever since Fire Chief Bobby Hatfield took this picture with Miss Mountain City Corvette. Last week, a full month after this issue appeared on the newsstands, the city council voted to demote the chief. Well, you know what he did? He promptly quit.
It appears to me that some of the city fathers did not want me to be the fire chief of the city, and it was used as a reason to demote me down to captain.
The chief says that someone was out to get him. Is that so?
Well, I have no idea if anyone was out to get him or not.
Mayor Charles Sherrill says the pictures were just the last straw for a man who wasn't doing a very good job. Even though the Accelerator is not a girly magazine, just an auto trader. Accelerator only uses girls to, well, accelerate sales.
I call them an accessory to the car. The car is the feature. The car is what we are featuring on the cover.
This isn't the first time a public person has graced Accelerator's pages. Look behind this Santa costume and you'll see a Tennessee Valley mayor. This is just the first time anyone's raised a stink about it. In Rossville, Jonathan Panker, News Center 12.
Chief Hatfield has now decided that he'll take that job of captain after all, but since he quit, the city council has to decide if they still want to give it to him.
A Walker County man has been arrested and charged with trying to have someone murdered. Jerry Allen Boyd is accused of hiring an undercover agent to kill his father-in-law. Police say Boyd offered the agent $3,000 to kill his father-in-law and make it look like an accident. Sheriff Al Millard says Boyd was going to have his father-in-law killed for the inheritance money. Boyd is being held at the Walker County Jail under a $50,000 bond. If it seems to you that the Byron D. LeBeckwith murder case has been progressing a little too slowly, you're not alone. Prosecutors in Mississippi say they're fed up with all the delays and want to get this case in court. Prosecutors told the Mississippi Supreme Court that Beckwith's defense has plenty of ammunition and that it's not necessary to stall this case any longer. The Mississippi Supreme Court is deciding if Beckwith can be tried for a third time in the 1963 murder of civil rights leader Medgar Evers. Beckwith's attorneys argued last week that he's too old and his memory too poor for him to defend himself.
Well, if you live in Chattanooga, you might be surprised to know that officials have just spent $5 million of your tax dollars to build a giant sewer tunnel. The federal government forced the city to build it, but refused to help pay for it. As Stephen Roof reports, the project's one redeeming value is that it should improve water quality in the Tennessee River.
For the last year, Ross's Landing has been a construction zone. It's frustrated tourists and river benders. Why does the city need a $5 million sewer tunnel? Whenever it rains hard, the overflow from the downtown sewer system pours straight into the Tennessee River. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says that must stop. The city designed this tunnel to work like a giant holding tank. Instead of going into the river, the overflow is stored here until it's pumped over to Moccasin Bend for treatment. But in the worst of storms, even this giant tunnel can't hold all the overflow, and some will be diverted into the river.
And we'll take out most of the solids, by the way, even before anything empties into the river, even during those 12 overflows. So it'll have a marked effect on cleaning up the Tennessee River.
This sewer tunnel has an automatic cleaning system. Up here in this pipe is Tennessee River water, and when activated, it flushes water through holes in the pipe and cleans off any debris that might be on this wall.
The tunnel is more than 30 feet deep in some places, and construction workers say digging down that far was like taking a step back in time.
This area that we're in here now is where as I was telling you before, there used to be a gully running through here, and it's furniture factories, and they used to raft logs in here and tie them up. We're about on where the old riverbank used to be.
No kidding.
The project should be finished in 3 weeks. That's when Ross's Landing should start looking more like a park than a landfill. Stephen Roof, News Center 12.
Now, the city plans to spend another $35 million over the next 10 years to build 6 more sewer tunnels. The next one is scheduled to be built near Howard High School.
Well, still ahead tonight, the president of a local community college is under fire, and he's fighting back.
And sometimes it's hard to get your kids to school on time, but how about an hour and a half early? Find out what national event these kids are taking part in next.
Visits a local rural elementary school to see if his basic education program is working. I'm Chris Allen. I'll have the story.
You're not a kid anymore. You must be kidding me. You look 10 years younger than you're supposed to be. You've got smooth, soft skin, bright, shining eyes. Drinking milk every day, well, that's no surprise, 'cause milk tastes delicious. You're not a kid anymore. And I'll tell you what's more. You're not a kid anymore. Milk's good for you. You're not a kid anymore.
Milk, because you're not a kid anymore.
On News 12, the clock is ticking. If you still haven't registered to vote, we'll show you where to go to beat the deadline. And the Confederate Railroad comes home tonight.
Well, a few clouds are going to have to enter our forecast over the weekend, but I don't think Saturday's a problem. Maybe a few showers for Sunday. We'll have more in a minute.
Plus, Kevin has the Touchdown Friday night highlights. Stay with us.
Married with Children, tonight at 11:30 on News 12.
Would you raise your right hand? I do swear or affirm that I'm a citizen of the United States. We're seeing a lot of young people registering, and a lot of people my age who should have registered before and haven't.
Voter registration is surging here in the South for the presidential election. If you want in, you've only got a day or 2 left.
Now, News 12 at 11.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Rebecca Williams. If you live in Tennessee, the deadline is tomorrow to register for the election. In Georgia, you've got until Monday. In a moment, we'll show you where you can register this weekend. But first, Stephen Roof reports how this could be called the year of the new voter.
Y'all registered to vote? You registered already? You registered?
Political activism is back in vogue on campus. A good example is this voter registration drive that signed up hundreds of students today at UTC. Organizers called it Rock the Vote.
We've had a good response. The College Republicans yesterday had over 400, and today we're expecting that or more with the combined effort.
Some of those signing up today said they were inspired by recent political events, from Ross Perot's candidacy to the president's recent visit to Chattanooga.
I'm worried. I'm worried about Clinton winning. That's the main reason I want to vote, because I'm worried that the margin is so close. I'm worried.
Over at the Hamilton County Election Commission, a line stretched out the front door.
Election officials tell us that if you have voted in the last 4 years, including the last presidential election, you should be okay. But if it's been longer than that, you need to get re-registered. Also, if you've moved since the last time you voted, you need a new registration card.
When you do register, make sure you have some kind of identification with your current address. And if you're worried about declaring yourself a Republican or Democrat, forget it. There is no such question on the application. Stephen Roof, News 12.
As we said, in Tennessee, the deadline is tomorrow. If you live in Hamilton County, you can sign up at the Election Commission from 9 until 1 o'clock. Most courthouses in Georgia will also be open in the morning. In Lafayette, the hours are from 8 to 12. In Ringgold, you've got from 8:30 to 12. And in Trenton, the hours are from 9 until 5 o'clock. And finally, in Alabama, you've got plenty of time. Your deadline isn't until October 23rd. In other news tonight, there was a frightening episode in a Birmingham court today. Witnesses say a man pulled a gun after being given a 50-year sentence for murder. He waved it in the air and refused to put it down. Then the court bailiff shot him in the head. He's in critical condition tonight. 50 people were in that courtroom, but no one else was hurt. A Turkish destroyer is under tow on its way back home after an accidental attack by the U.S. Navy. A U.S. admiral says the incident may be the result of a premature firing of a missile on the aircraft carrier Saratoga. 5 sailors died on the Turkish ship, including the captain. President Bush has telephoned the Turkish president to express his sorrow over that loss. David's here now, and you've had a busy night down there at the Cajun Country Cookout.
What a blowout down there. That was a terrific time.
I heard it was packed.
Yeah, they had Confederate Railroad was there. They have a number 2 hit on the charts right now, and the standing room only crowd.
You know, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We're going to let people take a listen and a look at Confederate Railroad.
Excellent, because they were good. First of all, we're going to talk about the forecast, though, and let's look at the current conditions outside now. It is 56 degrees. The relative humidity is at 93%. Our wind is calm. We have a barometric pressure reading of 30.05 inches of mercury. And yes, it is steady. That's not going to change anytime real soon. What will change is our forecast through the weekend, because temperatures are expected to hold off into the 70s, but we're also expecting clouds to come our way. High of 71, the low of 45. No precip over the past 24 hours. Air quality is at 48 today. The pollen count is at 8. Now, here's the radar picture, the forerunner of what is going to happen through the weekend. Already showers moving through northern sections of Florida, from Jacksonville on to Savannah, down to Tallahassee. Scattered rain shower activity. The heaviest showers down here just to the west of, say, Orlando and west of Daytona Beach. Satellite picture, there's that area of cloudiness, the big glob that you see right there is a low-pressure system. Still hasn't really made up its mind what it's going to do, which direction it is going to take, although it looks to me like it is going to move on to the north and to the east, and that would bring some of the precipitation and the cloudiness just to the edge of the Tennessee Valley. So we may be off and on cloudy, not tomorrow, but I think tomorrow evening and overnight tomorrow night. Depending upon the track of this low-pressure system, as it looks now, it will take a northeasterly move, and that will bring us right on the edge of the precipitation. Your forecast tonight, a fair sky, cool with a low of 48. Then we'll be looking for a fair sky through much of the day tomorrow. I think clouds will be on the increase late in the day. We're talking about high clouds first of all, though, not any rain clouds, with a daytime high temperature reading of 74. Next 5 days in the weather planner, temperatures remain into the 70s, nighttime lows into the 50s, and chances for rain Saturday night into Sunday, and maybe even early into Monday before clearing out Monday afternoon. We could miss the rainfall just as easily as we could get it, so you need to stay tuned here through the weekend with Patrick Core and find out the exact track of that storm system. It holds the cards for our forecast. So it looks pretty good at this point, Rebecca, but there may be some changes by tomorrow night.
All right, thank you, David. The Summerville, Georgia City Council is asking the GBI to investigate one of its members. The Summerville News reports that Councilman Earl Paris turned in an expense account report for $900 for a city trip. That report claims that the companies listed on the account denied doing business with him. Paris denies any wrongdoing. More news now in our look around the valley. Former Eastridge Police Chief Alan Richards packed up his belongings and moved out of his office, but not by choice. Richards says he'll go to court to try and get his job back, saying that the commission vote to oust him was illegal.
If we're not successful in having the courts set aside the action of the commission, then we're going to go ahead and sue for punitive actions against the city and members of the commission for what they've done to me.
The city attorney and the state's municipal advisory service say the vote was legal. The city manager says he'll announce who the interim chief will be next Tuesday. The Pioneer Bank on East 11th Street in Chattanooga was hit by a bank robber for the 3rd time this month. The FBI and the Chattanooga Police Department are looking for the suspect, described as a black male between 35 and 45 years of age, wearing a yellow shirt, blue pants, dark sunglasses, and a hat. No word on the amount of money that was taken. When you see a going out of business sale sign, do you ever wonder if the business is really shutting down? You're not alone. Chattanooga officials say they're going to crack down on these sales because while some are legitimate, others have these sales to bring in customers and temporarily avoid going out of business. Some city leaders now want to limit these sales to 90 days.
And this way, the public will be protected, and when a person comes in to
get a going out of business license, they will surrender their license. At the end of 90 days, they're out of business.
And that's a look around the valley. Kevin's here now, and I know you've got a lot of high school football to talk about, but first we have to talk about the Braves. And I know it doesn't really count right now, but it's still good to hear that they're winning.
Taking care of business. That's what they call it. They're just adding to the stats and set a new franchise record today. You can't ask for more than that. The Braves continue to roll right along, and today they had a chance to break the franchise record for wins. And
respectively. Well, let's check on tomorrow's Gold Gallon fishing game forecaster. How does it look? Well, as far as the early morning hours, 6:30 a.m. is when the graph touches the excellent range. 6:30 p.m. coming in second best, just about the time Tennessee will kick off against LSU down in Baton Rouge. Kickoff at 7:30 tomorrow night. It's going to be tough to win down there in the pit, but the Vols ranked 7th. They're going to try to do it.
They're going to give it a try. We'll catch your breath. We'll cut you loose so you can go back and get all that football stuff together.
Get everything lined up.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Well, that's your nonstop 10-minute look at the day's news, weather, and sports, but there's more ahead. Kevin will be back to show you that working in a fast food restaurant, it isn't as easy as you may think. But first, we'll take you to the homecoming concert for some local musicians who've hit the big time. Confederate Railroad is dead ahead.
For future forecasts.
Catch up on the local news and grab a biscuit or one of those thick quarter-pound burgers. And Hazel and Roy, Pauline and Bill and Luther Meese, you're always welcome. And to our other friends, we want to say thank you. And we appreciate you choosing Hardee's.
You're watching News 12 at 11 o'clock with Rebecca Williams, Chief Meteorologist David Neal, and Sports with Kevin Billingsley. World-class Ford quality is... Plan your holiday decorating. One-of-a-kinds, first-quality home furnishings at bargain basement reductions. Fowler's Final Countdown, I-24 at 4th Avenue, Chattanooga.
The Tennessee Valley is certainly well represented in country music. Fort Payne has given us Alabama. The Forrester Sisters come from Lookout Mountain, and the group Diamond Rio also has local ties. But the latest hometown heroes are called Confederate Railroad. Tonight they came home for a benefit concert at Miller Plaza. Madeline Firsty shows us they've got plenty of local fans.
Chattanooga's where a lot...
The weather should be fine tomorrow, maybe a few clouds by the afternoon, and a possibility of rain. We have to watch what happens with the low-pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico. I do think it will skirt us, and so the shower chances are very slight into Sunday with temperatures into the 70s. So not a whole lot of change, maybe on Sunday.
All right, I know Kevin wants to run during this story, so I'll hold him here. Chattanooga McDonald's restaurants today celebrated the founding of the fast food chain. Now, they didn't offer food specials or giveaways to draw a crowd. Instead, they recruited celebrities or near celebrities to work behind the counter, and one of them was our very own, there he is, Kevin Billingsley.
Oh, not bad, I guess. He could be a little more cheerful.
You see this steak and egg sandwich? I ordered it yesterday. And then he shorted me $1.
You did?
Yeah.
How did
He said it was a tip.
There you are.
I knew you had an extra $1
But you
today.
got tips when you waited on people.
Now, we understand that you didn't get paid for your work, but did you get some free food?
Well, yeah, I did. We had a good time over at Hickson Pike. A lot of great people, and it is a difficult job, and I did get free food.
Warn us next time you're going to be there, okay?
And I did short him $1.
Thanks, Kevin, and thank you for joining us tonight. Have a great weekend.